Hey, welcome back everybody to Old Bearded Gaming. We are in our final episode of RlCraft Hardcore. It took 69 attempts to get to this point. Win or lose, this is the last one that we're doing. And that's a little bit of a bittersweet kind of moment for me, honestly, because I have thoroughly enjoyed my time playing through RlCraft, and even so much so that I'm kind of getting that itch to dive into the newer version of RlCraft, the harder core mode that exists. It just looks like a heck of a ride, and really kind of amps up some of the difficulty scale with the scaling, literally scaling difficulty and damage depending on how far away from 0, 0 you are. Really adds kind of another interesting layer and element to an overall, otherwise pretty challenging gaming experience, that's for sure. But with that said, make no mistake, this has been an investment, a journey, if you will. I had to go back to the channel to take a peek. We've been at this since the very end of January. January 31st, we uploaded the first video. This will be the 58th entry into this playlist, into this series, and my deepest, most heartfelt, sincere appreciation for everybody who has come out, invested time, watched these videos, provided input and feedback, have shared their journeys and experiences, have commented and had some great discussions on the RlCraft Reddit. I think there's been honestly just an overwhelming positive sense of community, which Minecraft had anyways, but RlCraft, let's be honest. If you're playing this game, you're part of a special breed. You really are. This is some crazy stuff. It's not for everybody, but I just want to say truly thank you to everybody who's been with me along this way. This has been an absolute blast to do, to produce, to learn, and honestly to experience. It's not every day you come across something like this in the gaming world. So turning our attention to the game at hand, we're just going through the thought process here, and it literally just kind of struck me as a moment of inspiration. I was planning to maybe kind of come at this with a little bit of overachievement, if you will. Now that we have the sentient weapons, it was like, well, okay, let's take that bow, let's really just max that out. But what's that going to look like? How long is that going to be? To be honest, I've used the enchantments that I have on the bow that I have, and I didn't really have that many duplicates of some of the more important ones that I would want to put on it. And some of the ones that we had come from either dungeon finding or scraping them off of other, with the disenchantment, off of other pieces of gear. We did not have traders for every single one of these. So I said, all right, forget it. You know what? We're just going to do this thing. What does it take? What do we absolutely have to have in order to make this work? And so what you see is me kind of frantically searching around because I swear I had a teddy bear stuffed somewhere in one of these chests, but I'll be darned if I can't find it. So you know what? Forget it. We do what we always do, and we make what we need. So the teddy bear bauble, in case we somehow did not cover this particular one. Um, it's very simple to craft. It does take that level 3 gem, so I mean it is going to take a little investment in some of the more rare resources. But again, by this point of the game, battle towers you can pretty much just look at and make them collapse if you want to. A couple pieces of wool, and really the bigger challenge was, well, okay, shoot, do I have the materials that I need to be able to create the dyes? Because it does call for very specific colors. Fortunately, we had enough cocoa beans left over to make the brown, which you can put in the crafting table just directly with the wool to dye it. That was great. To be able to make the gray, I didn't have any of the coral pieces, at least not that I could find readily, but you can make the gray also with the ink sacks. And combining those with bone meal. And then that'll make the gray dye to then be able to get you the 2 that you need. And then, of course, making the teddy bear. Now, the reason that this teddy bear is so important is because when you go to fight the Amalgalich, he summons, particularly in the very first phase, Reapers. And if you get unlucky with some of those Reapers shooting their little blasts at you and whatnot, it can cause that Lycanite fear. What I don't know, and I really was not in the mood to test, if I'm being completely honest with myself, is if the Silver Armor Cure buff that we have is enough to negate the Lycanite mob fear. It's possible that it does. I just don't know off the top of my head for certainty, but you know what? I didn't really want to risk it. It's not that big of a deal to craft one of these, and that's what we end up doing here. So crafting the bear is kind of just the that last little step that I felt like we needed to put us over the edge. All the other baubles, we're pretty much fine. We've obviously got the Ankh shield, we've got the Dragon Eye, we've got rings of resistance and regeneration. And actually, as I was even thinking about it, the ring of regeneration probably wasn't even really necessary. I might have been able to swap that out for something else, just simply because we've got the potion effects that we're going to be drinking, which there's some regenerative properties there, and then of course with the wine we're extending that. So I mean it's a little bit of kind of overkill, if you will. But that said, it was still worth it to go in and just kind of roll this thing. I had some of the stars left over from my wither farming. In fact, quite a few of them to be able to try to put something good on this bear. But I didn't want to burn through everything, and I didn't want to leave it with something kind of crappy on it. So we roll this a few times, just trying to get, maybe if we can get the perfect version of it on there, punishing or whatnot, that would be pretty good. But it doesn't end up actually happening, so we circle back around and we take the Hardy, the +1 heart, which is fine because that's going to replace what was already in that slot. This teddy bear is going to go where our belt slot is, which is nice that it can actually go there because there's just very few things that fit into that slot. So the mindset is we've got the teddy bear that's going to protect us from the ads, from the Amalgalich. We're actually going to build kind of a little platform up. I just want to be kind of up off of the skyscrapers over in the Lost Cities when we build the shrine. So we're going to grab some blocks. We're going to make a little platform to be able to set up the shrine to then summon the arena for the Amalgalich. I have not fought the Amalgalich before. I have not done it in RlCraft. I haven't done it in any other version. I have watched some videos, of other people fighting it. I thought about putting a creative thing together, but then, the completionist in me is all like, well, if you're going to do that, you really need to replicate the exact armor and baubles and modifications, etc. that you have, so you really know what you're going to expect, and it just felt like a lot of work. And then in talking to some folks on the Reddit not too long ago, there was a really nice discussion about how the Amalgalich was kind of a bit of a letdown, that it was nowhere near as difficult of a boss as the other two were, Amadeus and the other big guy. So I said, and that was part of the kind of the nudge, I guess, into producing this video. All right, we're just going to do it. We're just going to go at it with what we have, and that's just going to be good enough. That said, a little bit of that fear factor kind of creeped into the back of my mind going, well, OldBeardedGaming, what happens if you get out there and you just fall flat on your face? Like you just mess this up and you die, the world's over. Are we really going to leave it unfinished? And I went back and forth with that in my mind. I said, well, yeah, I guess I can turn in my YouTube license or whatever and just walk away and say, okay, I tried, I failed, and I'm not doing it again. But I don't think that's going to happen because, well, one, we've already done it. I know how this ends. You guys don't. But two, it really didn't seem that difficult, honestly. And in farming, for the pieces, doing the beacons, beckons, in the Lost Cities, I would be amazed if this boss fight was any more complicated or difficult than it presents itself to be. Now, part of trivializing this fight as well is what we're doing right now, and we're taking a couple of the baubles and we re-rolled them to not have that extra heart, but to add the 8% damage increase. In fact, we take 4 of them so that we're doing a bonus 32% damage versus what the baseline would be. Because to be honest, with all of these potion buffs, with the diamond skin, the iron skin, the absorption hearts, etc., and from what I've seen of the fight, there's just not really anything that's going to be hitting us. I mean, if I let myself get sucked in, it's a one shot, I'm over no matter what I have. So I'm probably better off just doing more damage. Um, and I didn't go full, all 8 slots. Although I certainly could have. I absolutely certainly could have, and I think we would have been every bit just okay. I left it kind of half and half. Half with the extra hearts, half with the 8% extra damage apiece, because Lost Cities is sometimes a little unpredictable. I didn't know if by building up from one of the skyscrapers, making a platform, when we get the arena put together, if it was going to somehow maybe spawn in some things that could get through our defenses, that could pose maybe a little bit of a problem for us. So, I split the difference, called it better safe than sorry. So we're just checking the record, making sure we've got all the building components that we need to put the shrine together. We need 4 of the diamond blocks. We need 16 pieces of obsidian to be able to build the shrine. Of course, we need that soul cube, and then we're going to need one of the keys to be able to unlock it to trigger the whole thing. So just kind of sorting through the inventory a little bit here, making sure that we've got all the pieces ready to go, counted out, so that we can do this one time. It was at about this point that I think the nerves kind of started to creep up on me, going, "What are you doing? We should really practice this. Are we ready for this?" There was a lot of self-doubt moments, but at the end of the day, I had made a decision. We're firing this up. We're going to get in here, and I am anxious to close this chapter, to end this series and say, you know what, we did it. The potential upside far outweighed the fears and the doubts that I was having about this whole process. Now, I am something of a bit of a student of the game. I appreciate the research aspect, the diving into the wiki, looking through some of the change logs, etc. on the GitHub. I really like to understand the mechanics of how things work, and this fight's really no different. So yeah, I've seen, quite a few videos, some Nuts Guys video, of course, a few others as well. We watched Kiwi Gamer, how he tackled, the Amalgalich. Um, it's not the most complicated fight in the world, and for those that haven't seen it, it's a pretty straightforward interaction. It's, summon the Amalgalich, get to the far side of the arena, kind of strafe around. Phase 1, he's summoning Reapers, he's trying to suck you in. Don't get sucked in, that's bad. Burn him down. That's really kind of the flow of how that goes. We'll get a little bit more detailed into the fight when we get there. But for now, we're going to take just a quick little kind of victory lap. We got the Magikarp and heads on the wall. We've got our armor showcase room, every piece of armor in the game. There was a lot of work here. as I'm watching this in post-production, commentating, there was a lot vested in this. And honestly, this building, I am in love with this building. It was the perfect base for us. Had more than enough room where we didn't have to build it. We just had to modify it, to make it fit our needs. And, I kind of almost even had a little bit of a sense of, I don't want to say disappointment, but, there was more that we probably could have done to really kind of decorate it out, make it more of a home than anything else. But, my mindset at the end of the day was, this is a hardcore series. After we beat this, I don't know that I'm going to log back into this ever again. I think we're going to update. We're going to, go on to the newer versions, and that's going to be that. Well, I think that's enough reminiscing about the good that we've done. We could have spent quite a bit more time looking over all the things, but you guys have been along with me on this journey. You kind of know where we've been. It's all about how we end, and that's what we're going to get down to business with. Time to kill the Amalgalich. So we're going to treat this pretty much like any other excursion into the Lost Cities. We're going to get down by our waystone. We'll probably warp down to our southern location. We're going to do our potion buffs, put everything on, and get our wine all situated, get our inventory bar all ready to go, and then dive in and make this happen. Now, I guess it is worth noting, I didn't have a location pre-picked out. I thought about that going, well, I want to make sure that it's a somewhat safer place, but there really isn't any safe place in the Lost Cities. And I decided on the philosophy that, I'm going to fly in a direction that maybe I haven't rendered yet, allow things to just kind of load and be as clean as possible. I really didn't want to have any lag during the fight. That was the thing that I was going to be worried about, that, all of a sudden the Amalgalich's eyes are going to light up for his little pull me in move. The game was going to lag. I was going to freak out, accidentally jump, and then it was just going to suck me in. If you guys didn't read between the lines, don't jump during this fight. When you're airborne, you can't counter run the other way, and his little suck-in move can just make you cover a lot of distance, that's for sure. I actually was even so worried about it, I thought about unbinding my jump key, from the spacebar, putting it to something a little bit more obscure, so that I wasn't tempted or just out of habit to do the jump. Part of me also wanted to kind of try and see, well, hey, does the creative flight actually help? But then there was a comment that rang in my ear. Somebody had mentioned it. I forget who it was. But that the flight potions, the creative flight that you can get, is bad during that suck-in move. So I decided not worth giving that a try. We're going to do this on the ground. We're going to do this the legitimate way. So in terms of supplies, you see there, we're keeping it pretty simple. We've got a stack of ender pearls. If the suck-in ability of the Amalgalich ends up being just a little too powerful and I lose some ground and need to make it all the way back to the outer wall, I don't anticipate that happening. As it is, I have a hard enough time steering when we've got all these buffs going on, because our speed boost is so crazy. I really don't see losing ground to the Amalgalich. So I'm hoping that ends up being the case. That's the mindset. That's the thinking. We grab a couple extra bottles of wine just in case this thing gets drawn out for some reason or there's a complication. But honestly, if that were to happen, I would just pop one of my warp scrolls and we'd hightail it out of there and we can come back and approach it another way. I assume that works. I haven't actually ever seen anybody do that, where they spawn one of the bosses and then they use their warp scroll, they leave, and then they come back into it. I suspect that would work just fine. I don't know if everything resets, if everything heals up, but I'm hoping we don't have to do that, right? Like we can just kind of one and done this. So again, as we're flying around here, we're heading in kind of a southerly direction, kind of looking for some stuff that maybe we haven't rendered yet. I thought about maybe another kind of like a little mini open desert or out over the water, something like that. But logistically, that seemed a little more difficult. I only had not even a full stack of bricks, just like 57 there. That's not really enough to build straight up from ground level. So I said, all right, this building looks good enough, to be perfectly honest. It's got a couple sheep on it. It's relatively tall. I don't see anything really flying around, so we're just going to kind of build our elevation here a little bit, get a platform, and we'll just kind of take it from there. What I really didn't want to have happen was any of those guys that they fly around, I forget their name, but they can see invisible, basically. I didn't want them coming over and just kind of wrecking the day. So I was kind of trying to get this built, doing the math in my head of, well, okay, the shrine needs, one space out from the center, so what does that end up having to be? Should have had this all drawn out beforehand, but I'm like, no, it's pretty much just a 5x5, and that's what the shrine is. This is the same for summoning basically the other bosses. You go 3 high in the corners and put a diamond block on top. For the middle one, it's 2, and then the soul block, and then 2 obsidian on top of that. And that will allow you to summon your bosses. Now, if I thought my nerves were going to kind of get the better of me beforehand, they really were going to do it here. I butterfinger the blocks of diamond and just chuck them. But we pick them up. We recover nicely, right? We get them all there. We've got our key. We've got our scrolls. We're pretty much ready to do this. So get ready to settle in. This is the Amalgalich fight for your viewing pleasure. It was at this moment that I realized, oh shoot, I haven't shot my bow in a while. How fast does that take to draw back to full strength? Okay. Oh yeah, and land! Let's get on our feet so we don't just immediately fly into sudden death. I'm not scared. You're scared. Nah, I don't think anybody's really scared. But this was it. We made our way all the way to the very far back, start throwing arrows at the Amalgalich, realized, oh yeah, I have to strafe, so I probably shouldn't be tucked away in that little corner. And we just start pelting him. And honestly, I was so relieved the second that I actually looked up at where the phase bar was, because he wasn't doing any damage. I saw the eyes light up, and I turned around, and then I said, well, maybe we'll chance it a little bit and face him and keep shooting, but hold the back button. More than sufficient to be able to counteract the suck-in ability. I remember seeing something about one of the breakdowns about killing those Geists and the purple that they put on the ground, and come phase 3, it could kind of heal him, and you should shoot the bats over the top of the purple. I said, you know what, we're doing just enough total wrecking damage here. I'm just going to spam arrows. We're just going for it. He's going down. And there it was. The Amalgalich is dead. Quest complete. The Consumer of Souls. And that closed out the final chapter. The chapter Cryptids and Critters. Really only one thing left to do at this point. And that is to claim our bounty, our prize, the Wrath Pendant. And of course lag. Now, of course, the Wrath Pendant, such a wonderful bauble. Easily one of the best in the entire game. It's a bummer that you get it at such a late stage here, which I guess technically it is possible to get it from one of the monuments of Shivaxi. I never came across one, and we spent a lot of time flying around in frozen places to never find one, but I was actually kind of okay with that. Because from my understanding, the loot and the goodies that come from finding that really kind of upset the balance a little bit and really make things crazy. I was super amazed at the quantity of snails here. I thought that was just kind of amusing, to be perfectly honest. So the arena is what it is, but the sigh of relief, the ability to breathe easy now that it had been done. The Amalgalich slain. The empty feeling started to set in almost immediately. Almost immediately. We rise to take a look at the sunset. The arena, left behind in its wake, a reminder of the battle fought. You know what? I can't really build this up. That was that was a super easy fight. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. That was probably one of the most overhyped, I don't want to say letdown, but yeah, it didn't seem quite as worthy for a final boss. So we go in there and we collect our prize, our goodies. We start checking through everything here. We've got the final hat. Or do we? There's another damn category that showed up there. Time to go outside? What? The game is trolling us. Straight up trolling us. But I want to see what this Amalgalich head looks like. So let's clean up inventory a little bit here. I really don't know why I went to put stuff away, or sleep for that matter. It summoned a Reaper trying to sleep. I thought that was kind of fitting. Just one kind of little reminder that, oh yeah, you are playing RlCraft, by the way. Nothing ever comes easy in this game. And the habits you learn along the way, they don't die easy. This Inventory Manager 2022, yeah, this is the real game within the game. And the desire, the pull to sort things and keep things organized is so ingrained, especially with such a long journey like this. I thought about editing it out, but I said, you know what? This is part of the scarring, right? This is part of the end result of a battle well fought. We should leave it in. So let's take a look and see what this Amalgamate Skull looks like. It's pretty cool, actually. I really kind of like it. It's going to go in the collection because it doesn't have an epic beard. And, you know, that's kind of what we're all about. But we did it. We absolutely did it. So let's check out this last little thing. Good job, congrats, winner, dragon dinner. Take this and go. Our certificate of completion. Hooray! You did it. You finished the quest book. Oh, the disrespect, the taunting. Shavaxi, you son of a. Well, and he gives us this Jake hat, right? And I was hoping that this was like Jake from State Farm, like it would put on like the khakis, the whole bit. No, it turns out this is Jake the dog from Adventure Time. So kind of fitting. You know, this has definitely been an adventure. I realize that we're still invisible because of the potions, and the Jake the dog hat does not go over the top of the armor, so we run into some technical difficulties here trying to showcase what this looks like. But yeah, that doesn't look too bad. It's pretty cool. Kind of neat. Well, as we get our armor right for I don't know what reason, it's time to wrap things up. Everybody, again, I want to say thank you so much for your support, your viewership, liking, subscribing, commenting, feedbacking, helping with the overall evolution of not only the series, the channel as a whole, the discussions had on Reddit. You guys have been fantastic, and this has been truly a pleasure to put together. So I am looking forward to starting some other series. You know, we do have our DCSS series underway. We do have some other Minecraft series that are going on, but RlCraft is not over. We're going to take a peek at some other versions here, the updated harder craft. More to come, but for now, this has been OldBeardedGaming saying thank you so much. Appreciate everything. Appreciate you guys, and take care. We did it! Now it's over.